What is up, everybody? Today is Tuesday, July 20th, and I've reached the pinnacle of my life. You can't see it right now. I got the man bun going.
Ooh.
I had it really good yesterday. It's taken me about 6 days and probably a total of 2 hours spent in the mirror just figuring out how to tie it. And it's very simple, so I felt very stupid for that. I also need to cut it around my ears, but I probably am never going to shave again. Definitely not the beard now. It's not even going to ever get trimmed. I may move into the wild. I think I saw a wolf in my front yard today. Things are just trending towards me living in the woods. So this might be the last podcast I'm on. I don't know. Tom, what's up?
Not much. I love that you're living your best life with the man bun. I'm feeling that for you. But yeah, man, I'm a little disappointed and a little sad by our news this morning.
Oh yeah. So breaking news. This doesn't matter to me. And we're obviously, well, you know what, Tom, we'll just let you go into it right now. Cam Akers tore his ACL.
Achilles. It was the Achilles.
Oh, whatever. Worse. That's worse.
Way worse.
I would also like to say that when you told me that, I 100% thought he was on our team, and I was angry. And then I was like, no, I don't think we have Cam Akers. So we don't. So what's the latest on Cam Akers, and how are you feeling?
So Cam Akers, I don't know how teams let this happen. Like, he tore it in practice. And weeks before the season starts, I think there's 7 Sundays before there's no football left or something I saw. Something like that.
Yeah, it's shockingly close.
Shockingly close. And I just don't understand how the Rams let this happen. Like, Cam Akers was set for a huge season. He was going to be a workhorse back. He was going to be this, that, and the other thing. And he showed a lot of promise. And you're going to tell me that I get these injuries happen, and I get that these things happen. But with someone like Akers, who is supposed to be basically the focal point of your offense.
Whoa, Matt Stafford.
I know they have Stafford now, but they were going to open Stafford's options up with Cam Akers. The offense was going to run through Cam Akers.
He was probably good. You mean he was going to be the focal point of the offense?
He was. He was a 3-down back. They were going to use him for every scenario. And I don't know if they overworked him in practice. I don't know if he got too many reps, too many touches.
Okay, I'm just going to pause you right there. You're taking the wrong approach to this because an Achilles injury, ACL, I feel like you at least have to – an Achilles, it just means either he stepped on someone or something like that, or he just stepped wrong. So going at the fact that he was, like, running – weird. I've been a proponent that I don't want any of the Browns players to see a football field until they play the Chiefs. But I think you're kind of taking the wrong approach here. I don't know what you can. I understand that you're mad, so I'm
just
also siding with you with that. But there's not much you can do to prevent an Achilles tear.
I know. It's the same thing with an ACL. Like, you remember the one play, the Lions guy got a sack or whatever, and he went up and jumped and did the thing, and he tore his ACL. Like, just stuff happens, and I get that. It's so unfortunate.
My favorite thing about this, and now I'm kind of more in the world now with it, that I follow more people that do it and everything. I'm very much looking forward to, after this podcast is over, going on Twitter and just seeing all the fantasy football owners just bitch and complain about how Cam Akers is hurt. There will be 70 million tweets by the end of the day. Someone's probably going to go as far as be like, you know what, I'm not even going to play this season. I'm not even going to play.
Someone will, yeah. Someone whose dynasty roster revolved around Cam Akers. Like, it was the only running back he had. He'll be like, yeah, I'm pulling out. I'm on my buyback.
yeah. That $20 they gave you, give it back to me.
I need it back. I don't want to play.
I'm not in on this season. You know what? Call me up next season. We'll see how Cam Akers is feeling.
Yeah.
So we'll get to that and some more NFL stuff more a little bit later. Also, so what do we think of the Jeff Bezos and Richard Branson going to space? Because it's not really space.
Yeah, it's not really space.
It's like
they could say
you're
it's space.
Smarter than me. So is it? It's like a layer that's like in between the atmosphere and space.
Yeah, there's like a I don't know. That was like fourth grade science. I didn't pay attention. I was just there to like see if we could grow a bean sprout or something.
Yeah.
Like that.
Once you get to like seventh grade, you get to dissect a frog or whatever. Yeah.
I don't even think I did that. I don't think we did that.
I 100%. If we ever did that, I would skip class. I am squeamish. I cannot pick apart dead things. Yeah, I do think it's really cool that they were like waitlist for 4 or 5 minutes. Like that's really cool. But I also should kind of be like, you probably shouldn't say you're going to space when you're really not. And the people who are doing this are insane. Like, I understand Bezos and Branson because it's their companies. I have to go. The people that are signing up for this, it's a death wish. It's a death wish. One of these is going to crash and everyone is going to die. And I just don't understand how people don't see it. Yeah. So it's crazy. Like, I don't know why these people want to go to fake space with probably like a 50% mortality rate. Another bad thing going on. It seems like COVID is back. The new variant is basically just running rampant. I know it was running rampant through Europe. It's apparently now over here, along with like regular COVID also being back. I'm not going to turn this into something political. I think if you don't get the vaccine, you're kind of an idiot. Whatever. If you don't want to get it, whatever. The SEC did something the other day that, like, I know the NFL is pushing to get like teams up to 85%, and like it's actually ends up being a pretty big competitive advantage. I think the SEC did the right thing. I think that what happened yesterday is they, like, guys that aren't vaccinated, like in the SEC, like you can't make them get vaccinated, but they're saying that if you can't play because too many players have COVID, you're going to have to forfeit. That's a possibility in the SEC right now, and I think that's a pretty serious one. You told me about Japan, like how they don't believe in the vaccine. Like,
I didn't say that.
Okay. Yes, you did. You said something about it.
I think I said something along like, I don't even know. I don't know.
You said something about it, but like that Olympics is like, it's going to get canceled either halfway through it or before it. Like, I don't know how these guys, and we'll get on to more USA basketball just being, I mean, absolute, like a gong show. It's terrible. Why not? Like, apparently, I have heard rumors that the guy, like, they've been losing because the guys have been going out and partying. Whatever. I don't care. The season's over. That's fine. But I also am like, why did you not set up a bubble? Like this, you guys were there for a week and a half. Like, set up a bubble. Like, you know what? Live in one of the casinos at one of the hotels and then let them go downstairs, like rent it off or whatever if they want to do that. Like, it makes no sense. Now, Bradley Beal is not playing. Who was the other one? Jeremy Grant. Jeremy Grant. Oh, we'll talk.
He's not playing.
Yeah, Kevin Love. Jeremy Grant, I don't know if he made the flight. He did go into protocols. I don't know. And then Zach LaVine, I think yesterday, is in protocols as well. We'll get back into more of the USA basketball when we get down to it. But, I mean, it looks like it's really back. Like, I know I've said before, like with my health, like I can't catch the new variant. Like I've been telling people around me, like I wear my mask when I go out. Like I have to take it safe, but it's almost unbelievable to me that we have gone from like almost like, I don't know, 3 or 4 months ago where we thought this was going to be a great fall season. Like there would be no interruptions to now we're like, 4 weeks away from the preseason. And we're like, there's probably a good possibility that COVID is going to have a major effect on this season somehow.
Yeah, unfortunate.
Today in sports history, I don't have anything other than I went on Facebook and I was in North Carolina on a beach at 16 this day. Like,
love that for you.
I don't know. I didn't recognize myself. And then instead of another today's sports history, we're going to do a quick reading about cricket's most prolific run scorer of all time. It's by Ray Setterfield, and it's not too long, I don't think, so we should be good. Okay, never mind. It's pretty long. I don't know if I'm going to read it all. Okay, here we go. The game of cricket delivers an unending list of records and incredible statistics, as on this day when England faced India on the 5th day of a test match at Lord's, the London ground regarded as the home of cricket, the game was to end with a total of 1,603 runs being scored in exactly 1,603 minutes. It was an unlikely statistic, the one produced by England captain Graham Gooch, great name, seemed even more unbelievable. He scored 333 runs in his first innings and 123 runs when he returned for his second spell at the crease. His aggregate score of 456 still stands as the world record for number of runs scored by any player in a single test cricket match, or a single test match. But that is not the only reason Gooch is in the record books. In a career lasting from 1973 until 2000, I thought this guy was way older than this. Okay. He became the most prolific run scorer of all time with 67,057 runs across first class and limited over games. The scale of that achievement stands out when it is measured against the total run scores of cricketing legends such as India's Sachin Tendulkar. I actually know that guy. I know of his name, with 50,192. Viv Richards of the West Indies with 53,207, and Australia's Ricky Ponting with 41,422. It could have been even more remarkable if Gooch had not been kicked out of the England cricket team in 1982 at the start of a 3-year ban. That's good. He was probably doing steroids.
Probably.
It was a punishment imposed on Gooch and other players such as Jeffrey Boycott. Never side with a guy that has the last name Boycott. For taking part in an unofficial tour of South Africa, who at the time were ostracized from the world of sport because of the country's apartheid. That makes sense. He was appointed the batting coach to the England team in 2012. I know the Sachin Tendulkar only because I'm pretty sure he's in the movie Slumdog Millionaire. He's one of the answers. So I think I know that why. But Graham Gooch, just a cricket legend. I don't know. Maybe we're gonna get some Graham Gooch merch flying off the shelves here soon. We'll see. Okay,
Graham Gooch,
and that's a great name. Especially with the guy he went on the tour with too. The guy whose last name Boycott. So I mean,
Gooch and Boycott 2021.
Just incredible. So obviously over the weekend, Colin Morikawa won the Open. With Colin Morikawa winning the Open this weekend, he won his 5th PGA Tour event before the age of 25. Tiger Woods obviously has the most. How many did he have before the age of 25?
So he had 5. I'll say 12. That's my answer.
You're half right. It's 24.
What?
Yeah, they put the list because everyone.
God.
Morikawa is good. I mean, I hope he's really good. I'm still more interested in Brooks Koepka and Bryson DeChambeau fighting, but whatever. Hopefully he's good. But yeah, it's just kind of that's Colin Morikawa is the hot thing right now, and Tiger at this time already had 19 more victories. So if people wonder why people aren't watching golf a lot, it's probably because Tiger Woods isn't there. All right.
That's why they need Bryson DeChambeau to stir the pot. Keep golf relevant.
Who over the weekend, I mean, I don't know if you saw it, but he's basically the way he swings and how fast he swings.
Yeah, I saw this whole debacle.
He needs a special driver. And Cobra is one of the golf brands, I guess, and they've been they basically send 10 new drivers a day, and it's okay, use the one that works best. And they're working they're basically their whole company is working for him. And then after the round on either Thursday or Friday, he was yeah, the driver sucks.
Yeah, he said that it sucks.
And the guys were we do this not 24/7 for you. Are you serious?
They were pissed apparently.
Yeah, and then apparently he's about to get fired as their spokesman. So that's good.
Yeah, they're about to rescind their sponsorship.
I don't think I'll ever feel bad for him, but it really almost seems I know Brooks at the end of his round said, "I love my driver" in an interview. So obviously taking a shot at Bryson. I'll never feel bad for Bryson, but it's almost getting to a point we're kicking a guy that's already down. So the guy clearly has no friends. There's something wrong with him. He sucks.
Everything about him is just a problem.
stupid hat he wears. I hate that thing.
Stupid. Yeah, and I'm not gonna lie, I'm not gonna knock his swing because he is a pro golfer or whatever. But just to the eye, it looks so janky. It's so yeah. I don't get it.
And it's not even that he's this really good golfer necessarily. He just hits the ball really far.
But he is good. He is a pro golfer.
Yeah, when he takes an hour on each hole so he can measure the divots and everything. I mean, no, honestly, ever since this Brooks Koepka thing with him has come out, it honestly seems like the whole tour hates him. Justin Thomas came out and made fun of him, said, the scientists probably should have studied that or something in one of his. So it just seems like nobody likes him. I think it's really going to hit a low point in the Ryder Cup when he's on the Ryder Cup team and everyone's no, I don't.
Yeah, and everyone's going to back out because no one wants to play with him.
Yeah, I'm not partnering with him. Whatever. World of Golf is weird. Whatever. To the NBA Finals. This was shocking.
It was so disappointing.
We'll talk about the game first.
Mm-hmm.
Giannis still, he doesn't do it for me. That game, I'm not going to go on a tirade on it. Drew Holiday played an incredible game. I don't know how he did that, because I was reading something online. It was every series that the Bucks have played in, he's had one game like that where he's incredible. And I think he shot over 60% from the field and over 50% from three. He's had one of those games in every any series they've been in. And then every other game, he's averaged under 20% from the field and under 30% from three. Or the other way around, obviously.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, he just sucks. Drew Holiday won that game. It does show you that defense really matters because, I mean, when he took away the ball from Chris Paul in game 4 or whatever, too, it was the same thing. Chris Paul is I'm here to defend Chris Paul, not necessarily in the kind of way I really want to. He's a dirty player. He is. He's a dirty player. I have to say this as a short player and used to play basketball. You have to be either borderline dirty to be competitive if you're short. If everyone's 5 inches taller than you, you have to be dirty. You have to find ways to make people angry. I know I have this in the outline, but when I played high school cornerback and there were 6'2" guys running on routes on me, the one thing my coach taught me when I think I was a freshman, when you're short, all you got to do is the groin chop. It's the dirtiest play in the world, but if you're running leg and leg with the receiver and you can make your arms look like this and then you come down and groin chop them, I think I tried to do it on every single play. And there were a lot of people that hated me. But it's just when you're 6'6" and I'm 5'7", I'm going to take every advantage of you that I can. So, but he is a dirty player. What do you think's wrong with him? I don't know if he's hurt. I don't know if he's tired.
I think it's more he's been doing it for too long. I think it's a mixture of tired and hurt. He's been the focal point for the Suns. He's been the leader. I know he hasn't been the best player, and I'm not saying that everything goes right. He's not. But he is.
He's clearly the vocal leader.
He is the vocal leader, and that makes him the heart of the team in a sense. He's not going to be going out and dropping the numbers that Booker does. Booker. He's not going to be dropping the numbers like that. He's not going to be going crazy on their boards like Ayton. But he's going to get the assists, and he's going to have a decent scoring night, and he keeps everyone calm in the huddle, and he keeps them locked in and mentally ready for the game. And there's something that's said to that. But he's been doing this now for the entire playoffs. I think he was hurt at one point. And
definitely in the the end of the Lakers series. There was one game where his shoulder was real messed up.
Right, but that was round 1, and he played through the next 2 rounds with it, but it catches up to you. The injuries will catch up to you, and I think we're starting to see that. He's still trying to play through it and keep everyone calm in the huddle and everything, but he's not playing like his normal self.
Yeah, go ahead.
No, and I was going to jump over to Giannis. So, what's your point on CP3 that you were just saying?
I know it sounds stupid, but I really think it does play a factor. He's just never played this deep in the playoffs before. And let's not, I mean, we can LeBron James is a superhuman athlete. It was weird that last year he was leading the Lakers in minutes at 38 years old and still winning in the finals. Like, that's not normal. So you can't even count that. Like, Chris Paul has never been this far. He's 38. Like, he's not young. So yeah, I just think he's gassed. There are times that they take him out in the first quarter, it seems like every game lately, and they put Campaign in. And there are times when they look better with Campaign.
Yeah, and that just might be because Payne's even a little fresher because he's not playing as many minutes per game as Paul. Maybe give. I know that it might not sound great, but give Payne a start and have him flip minutes. Paul can still be in the huddle. He can still be on the court, keeping everyone calm and everything. But he needs a little less time on the court, I think, right now. Sure. And then the point I was going to go and make about Giannis, he is good. He's really good. I don't think the Bucks make the final without Giannis. But they have a really solid foundation now of role players that will play with Giannis. And I think that is really what's so valuable. And I'm not going to get into Batmans and Robins because it is a team game and everything, but everyone's playing their part and everyone's contributing to the team. And I know you're not going to like it. I don't think Giannis is as bad as you're trying to make him out to be. I think he is a superstar.
I'm fully on board with the fact that he's very, very, very good player. He probably qualifies for what I would consider a superstar. I'm just not going to lie about it. He just doesn't do it for me. He's not exciting to me. When you're 6'11" and that athletic, yes, I expect you to make the plays. And I'm not going to lie. Giannis is, I'm not going to go all the way and say this, he's the poor man's this, but he's the middle-ish version of an in-prime LeBron James. And LeBron James was able to shoot. And LeBron James was able to do all, I have calmed down a little bit. After they made, after Giannis, don't get me wrong, that was a great block in Game 4 that he had. When the Bucks tweeted that that's the greatest block in the history of the finals, I even went over to Trevor and some of the other guys from Florida. I was like, this is wrong, correct? It's not even close. So yeah, I've been spoiled with LeBron, and LeBron is just, if Giannis could ever reach a point where LeBron was, I don't know, I'll say not in Miami, maybe I guess when the Cavs won the championship in 2016, then I'll give him his respect. When you can't bring the ball outside 12 feet, I just don't respect you. I don't, and I also don't understand why they just don't put someone in front of him and takes a charge. Put Frank Kaminsky in. Either put Frank Kaminsky in, let him stand there, he gets a charge, or oh no, Giannis goes to the line where once again he went 4 for 11. I will never understand that for the rest of my life. So I'm not going to go into that, but I feel like it would be incredibly, I'm not going to say easy. There's a game plan out there that could be put together that could hamper Giannis pretty easily. And if Giannis isn't getting his points, that's why he is the Batman on this team, really, because he has to get his points. He's the most important player. But I'll even say this tonight. If unless both Chris Middleton and Drew Holiday show up today, and unbelievable, freaking Pat Connaughton, are you kidding me? And also Jay Crowder is the man for the Suns. He played for the Cavs for a season. He was the worst player I've ever seen in my life. So I don't know how these players are doing this. Pat Connaughton is just annoying, so he can go away. I think he went to Notre Dame, so he's a loser. But yeah, Giannis has to get his points, but then again, he needs Middleton. I think at home he's going to get his 30 tonight. I think Giannis gets his 30. I think Middleton gets his 30. I think Booker gets his 30. I don't know where the rest of the scoring is going to come from. I think there's a lot going to have to come from Paul. But yeah, I mean, Drew Holiday is going to be the X factor tonight. He needs to have over 20 points to shoot well and play good defense, which he is a really, really good defender. And then the only thing I'll say about like the Bucks fans, like I think you'll agree with me. Like they're trying to play this narrative that like they're this small town team that ESPN hates. ESPN does this with every small town team that's in a finals, any finals. They did the same thing to Cleveland in 2016. Like they do it every year when they have to go to a small town place. Like they're not saying it, but I'm sure they don't. Like I'm sure Stephen A. Smith and like Stan or Jeff Van Gundy, like they're not really necessarily enjoying being in Phoenix either. So like it's just a played out narrative. At this point, I hope they win. The shirt that Zach made, I like it. It's not very original. I hope he's selling a lot of them. Go find Zach Brunner on Twitter. Buy all the shirts because I think if you buy all the shirts, somewhere down the line, it might help us. I don't know, but it might. So, yeah, I mean, I'm happy for them, like, as fans, like, as fans. So I will say that. And then now I think we can, unless you have anything else, I'm going to jump into football because I think it, like, Milwaukee is going to go from the highest of highs to the lowest of lows in record fast time. Like, I really think they're going to win the final if they do. And I think they might. They probably will at this point. They're going to win the finals this week, have their parade. And then the next day, Aaron Rodgers is either going to say, I'm not playing for you this year, or he's going to be shipped out. Like,
probably.
I'm not kidding. So
no, I don't have anything else. The only thing I'll say was that you put it in the outline, and you were right. Budenholzer has been doing a fantastic job, and the huge lineup putting in everyone. That was a great move.
I understand everyone wants to talk about Drew Holiday, Chris Middleton, and Giannis, and they deserve it. Yeah, Mike Budenholzer was like a kindergartner in the first two games, and now he's like Larry, no,
coach of the year.
Yeah, like coach of the year. He's Phil Jackson now. Like that huge lineup. Even when they came out in that, I was like,
what?
When the Suns, like, once they scored and then the Suns didn't call a timeout, I was like, yo, Monty, you need to call a timeout, man. You have no idea how to handle this. So he's been incredible.
A little sidetrack, but since you mentioned his name, I saw a great meme about Monty Williams. I was like, the Suns could be down by 30 and Monty Williams be in the huddle talking about the importance of raising your son right.
Yes. I mean, it's true.
Love that.
I know he's been through a lot in his life. I haven't read his full backstory, but I think he did win the coach of the year, so I think that's good. So I have no doubts that even if the Suns lose, they're going to be playoff contenders it's weird to think about this, but if you're the Suns, like, obviously, I mean, Chris Paul's got a player option of I think it's like $45 million.
I think he's going to decline it and then try and restructure it. He knows that he's not going to be taking that. Oh, I understand why he would.
No. You're very wrong. He's going to pick that up right now. He's a 39-year-old point guard. This is the last last big paycheck he's going to get. I'm sure that actually the Suns are praying that he either does that and restructure. If I'm the Suns, though, I almost hope he declines it and says, "Oh, I'd rather go play with LeBron James," and I'd be like, "Great, that means I can sign a young guy now."
I could see Chris Paul restructuring where he's like, "Yeah, I'll take the pay cut, but I want to start getting paid X number for the next 3 years, get an extension, but just take the pay cut." You know what I mean?
Seems like we talk about it almost every time now, but I mean, Bobby Bonilla.
Bobby Bonilla.
I mean, I said this last time. He needs to be.
I think he should be an agent. He should start his own sports agency.
I mean,
only do the deals where they string it out.
Well, I mean, obviously, this is going on with Trevor Bauer or whatever. But had Bobby Bonilla been an agent, Trevor Bauer would have signed with him 100%. He would have been like, dude, you're going to get me money until I'm 95. Yeah,
I know Max Scherzer took a deal like that too recently.
It's the smart thing to do.
It's so smart.
And I understand why it usually doesn't come around a lot, because the guys are going to take their big money when they're young. I mean, shoot, when you're 23 and there's $325 million staring you in the face, you're going to take it. But yeah, when these guys are older, they just really need to get these contracts that just go on forever. But actually, before we get into the NFL, what's going on with the Mets? So I don't know fully, but basically over the weekend, I've just been like kind of monitoring Twitter.
Yeah.
Are the Mets done? Like, what's going on?
No, since the All-Star break, they've had a rough go of it. I mean, they lost. I think they had what was it, 7 games in a row versus the Pirates, who are the worst team in the league, and I think they lost 4 of them. One of them, they blew a 6-0 lead, and I remember seeing the sighting report on it was, Sugar Diaz, Edwin Diaz, gave up the 2-run homer in the 9th or whatever that lost them the game in the end. And he was like, oh yeah, because Lindor got hurt earlier in the game, he usually calms him down or whatever, and he just wasn't out there to calm him down, and he gave up the homer. I'm like, you're a professional player. You are a professional pitcher and supposedly one of the top 5 closers in the league, and you're saying your feelings were hurt because your friend wasn't on the field? What about all your other friends and your other teammates? They can't calm you down? So stupid.
So I guess I have 2 questions. What is Lindor's injury?
He has a grade 2 sprain of something or whatever.
How long is he on the IL?
Yeah, I think so.
60 days?
Let's see. 10-day.
Okay. That's I will say this, as an Indians fan, most seasons I can remember, there is a part of the second half that he usually misses because of some injury. So I would not worry about that. Is DeGrom okay? Because
he's on the day-to-day right now.
A day-to-day? Okay. So, all right. I feel, because I've kind of joined the Mets bandwagon now. I feel a little better. I do think maybe you guys were a little overreacting, or not you guys, but the fans over the weekend, because
oh no, they did put him on 10-day now. Actually, they put him on yesterday. That's why I didn't see it.
Well, as long as it's not people were acting like the season was over. They were but
yeah. Well, I'm reading now. He said that DeGrom said structurally everything looks good, but he's just frustrated that he's hurting, and I can't really blame him for being hurt because he's pitching a ton of innings every single time he goes out.
Yeah,
and he's thrown I think he has the most 100 plus mile per hour pitches this year.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie. If I'm the Mets right now, you just started the second half of the season, I'd let DeGrom take as much, and I also would probably let Lindor take as much. Take a month off if you need it. That's fine. I think your guys are good enough and have a good enough rotation, and I think enough bats that once it gets down to the nitty gritty, and you guys have already have a pretty good record. So once it gets down to that, I think you'll be able to be fine. You guys just can't lose DeGrom or Lindor for more than an extended period of time.
Right now, the Mets are at 48 and 42, so they're barely above 500.
That's really good, though.
No, it's not. The only reason it's good is because the rest of the NL East is just as bad. But I saw Baseball Reference came out with their playoff chance percentages for each of the divisions. Mm-hmm. The Mets, who currently sit as number 1 in the division, I said, they have the 3rd best chance to win the division, behind the Phillies, who have a 48% chance of winning, and then the Braves have a 26 or 27. And I don't understand that, in all honesty, because the Mets currently are 6 games ahead of the Phillies. So I did a little digging or whatever, and they're like, oh, the Mets have had the 24th hardest schedule so far in the season, but going forward, they have the 2nd hardest schedule in the league. Whereas the Phillies have some whatever schedule. But I don't understand it.
I wouldn't right now. I guess I haven't watched. I'm not gonna lie to you. I barely have watched any Major League Baseball. Acuna's out for the Braves. I mean, that's huge. I mean, that's terrible and that's huge. So I wouldn't worry too much about them. And then does Bryce Harper still play? Is he still in the league?
Yeah, he's on the Phillies. He's having an all right season, but it's because he's on the Phillies.
We need to do maybe like a full full episode on some of these guys that were like
where are they now?
Like so hyped up, like Bryce Harper. Like, where's Freddie Adu?
I don't even know who that is.
You don't even know who that is. I was saying, okay, yeah, you probably don't. Okay. I'll let you know who Freddie Adu is. I don't think we talked about it. Pete Alonso winning the home run derby. That was pretty cool.
Yeah, it was nice to see.
I know. Did you see his E60 thing?
No, I didn't.
He takes the home run derby really seriously. Like, he really wants to win it, and it was actually pretty good because I guess he got bullied a lot when he was younger because he was a bigger kid, which that doesn't make sense to me because if like you're a bigger kid, I feel like you just beat everyone up. But I don't know. But it was pretty good. If you get a chance to pop it, it's
I'll
okay.
Definitely go and watch.
I think his brother's in it and his mom. I don't know. All right, we're gonna get to the NFL now. We kind of started talking about Aaron Rodgers, so let's just finish that up. I would say I'm 90-10 leaning that he's either not playing for the Packers this year or he's playing for someone else this year or he's just not playing at all. Like, I just don't think he's going to break. And there was a report on ESPN today that he already turned down an offer to become the highest paid quarterback in the league.
Yeah, the mega extension is how they phrased it.
So what else can be done? I don't know.
I really don't know what else can be done other than you got to trade him because, like everyone who has known Aaron Rodgers has been saying, he's not going to budge. And now we're seeing physical proof that he's not budging, even if you offer him a super extension. I think he's just very much tired of Green Bay. I think he's tired of the management. I think he's tired of I don't understand it, but these are just what I think on the situation. I don't really understand it because management literally does whatever he wants with management. I mean, they ran McCarthy out of town.
Yeah, but for whatever reason, and I mean I see this through Zach and all the Flurry guys, like they all take like Aaron Rodgers' side, and maybe we'll have to ask them. I kind of talked to Zach about coming on. He hasn't got back to me. So I guess I don't really know like how the fans feel and how it's just a really weird situation. And it's like looking back on it, it's not surprising because this happened with Brett Favre too.
Yeah, I mean, and
it was the same exact thing. Like I just don't understand how you go from, I mean, you have so many teams out there. Like, I mean, the Browns, the Jets that have gone from bad quarterback to bad quarterback to bad quarterback to bad quarterback. And then you look at the Packers that have gone from one of the best of all time to probably most physically gifted football quarterback of all time. Mm-hmm. Like, I don't understand what's going on up there. Like, I really would like to know what the whole story is.
Well, and the real question and the thing that I think everyone really wants to know, why don't they help him with getting him weapons? Like, they do whatever he wants. They fire coaches for him. They fire coordinators for him. They let him run whatever offense he wants to run. They let him call his own plays sometimes. If you're already handing him all of those keys, why not help him and get him some guys that he wants? Like, you hear that you cut his buddy or whatever, that wide receiver that they cut that was like 5th on the depth chart or whatever. Yeah. You hear that he's upset with it, go get him back. Like, if he likes him, keep him, because then you don't have to go and spend major assets and money going out to get bigger name guys to keep him to stay. If he's happy with whatever guy that was, let him come back. It's not like you're signing him to a huge Julio Jones deal. You're signing him to a minimum contract that Aaron Rodgers will get his guy for. It's just the small things like that. But again, how far are you willing to go to please Aaron Rodgers?
Yeah, I don't know what the answer is going to be. Well, I do know what the answer is going to be. I really don't think he's going to play for the Packers, and I don't think they're going to try. I think they're going to try and not trade him for a little bit, and then I think they're going to realize they have to trade him because, like, I think they would have already traded him if they thought Jordan Love looked good, and I think they are fully aware that they like screwed up majorly drafting Jordan Love. Like, not only was it a quarterback so it made Aaron Rodgers angry, he's not a good quarterback.
He's not good in any facet, and no one really understands why they took him because they had Aaron Rodgers. I don't know why a team took him in the first round. I don't know why anyone would have took him in the second round unless it was the end of the second round. I don't understand the infatuation with Jordan Love. I mean, I went back and looked at some of his highlights and his games from – what did he come from, Utah State or something?
Yeah.
I mean, they ran a pro-style offense with the spread offense and everything. And I
mean, Kent State beat him in a bowl.
Exactly. I don't understand the infatuation with this guy.
Yeah. It's odd. Yeah. It's weird. And I guess the only thing I can say really is like stay on top of what's going on lately because you never know. He could be traded today. He could be traded tomorrow. Who knows? This is sort of the same situation. Is Watson going to go on the exempt list or?
I don't know. I haven't. It's crazy for the amount of stuff going on with him and how hyped up it was for the 3 or 4 months.
It's been so
I have not
quiet.
heard a word.
It's been so quiet.
And it's probably because he's not getting tried until 2022, so people are trying to keep up with the other news stories or whatever. I have not even seen a headline. I haven't seen his name at all. Like, I don't get it.
Yeah, I have no idea what's going to go on with Deshaun Watson. It's weird. It's just it's weird how loud it was and how quiet it is now. And then the last thing I have on the NFL, unless you have more, if you have more, you're more free to talk about. This was proposed by, I don't know, ESPN, one of actually like the rather big sites. It wasn't like 247 or anything. So Xavier Howard, didn't he just sign a new contract like 2 years ago, and now he wants to redo it so he makes more money now?
Well, so I did a little more digging as to like why he's doing that. They paid him at the time for whatever his contract is. Then the next year they went out and signed Byron Jones to this huge, massive deal from the Cowboys, and Howard like doubled or tripled his Jones's production in certain stats, and he's like, hey, why is that guy who's not doing anything getting paid huge while I'm getting paid like a mediocre to decent amount? Like, he wants to get paid for – that's where the whole get paid for what I'm worth thing kind of came from. I don't understand it. Like, I never understand guys that want to be traded or a new deal 2 years in if they signed a 4 or 5 year deal. Like, you sign the contract.
To me, I'll bring up the second aspect of it. To me, it's simple. Like, then if you, first of all, corners are some of the most cocky and egotistical. It probably is the most cocky and egotistical position on the football field. Mm-hmm. So sign 1 year deals. Like, sign 1 year deals, and then, bet on yourself that way. Like, Trevor Bauer, once again, is not a good reference, but he did it and he proved that he could do it. So he did it. And then he finally signed with the Dodgers, like a weirdo, but whatever. Xavier Howard, then don't sign a 5 year deal worth this if you think you're going to get better, so sign 1 year deal. The other reason I brought this up is someone proposed that the Browns would trade Greedy Williams, a second round pick and the 4th round pick for Xavier Howard. If that's all it takes to get Xavier Howard, fine.
I would do it.
Give him. The only thing I would hesitate to trade. I would hesitate to trade the 1st round pick next year, mm-hmm. unless I knew for a fact that he was going to re-sign with the Browns and be happy with the Browns, which I don't think is going to come with any guarantee. And then the other thing is that if they do trade for him, he just becomes another contract you have to pay. So
that's what I was going to say. I don't know how many if he is going to re-sign and he's going to want more money, I don't know if the Browns are even going to have the money because they already paid Garrett. They're working on a Chubb deal.
Yeah, I mean, the Cleveland media, all they're talking about now is who should be the next one extended. I mean, it's crazy, but it's right. I mean, so if they can land him for a year for literally just like Greedy Williams and like a third-round pick, yeah, that's fine. I'm fine with that. You play and show your worth, and then you know what? Before you can sign another new deal, we'll just trade your ass. So whatever. Like, if you want to be a mercenary, Darrelle Revis did it for years, and I respected him for it. So whatever. Like, if you want to be a mercenary, be a mercenary.
Yeah. I actually did have just two quick things on the NFL that weren't here. Yesterday, was it yesterday or was it this morning? Melvin Ingram signed a 1-year deal with the Steelers, trying to fill in, I guess, some roster spots. What do you think on that?
I mean, it makes sense. I think what they're trying to do is just instead of replace, like, it's almost like doing what I don't know. I'm sure you've seen Moneyball. Like they're just trying to replace Bud Dupree's like value with like 3 or 4 players. It seems like.
Yeah, well, they do a rotational thing like that.
Yeah, and
Melvin Ingram, I think, still has some game in him, though.
What?
I think Melvin Ingram has some game left in him.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think Tack McKinley has some game left in him too. I mean,
true.
But yeah, I mean, it's not surprising. I have no idea what the Steelers are going to be this year. It's very weird that they have spent so much money, like, because if you're Steelers going into this year, obviously you're pissed at the Browns. They beat you twice in a row, but you're also probably realizing that they're better. The Browns are probably on paper right now, and hopefully on the field, better than you this year. So why, like, to compete in a division that has Baker Mayfield, Joe Burrow, and I understand it with Lamar Jackson a little bit, but even so, it's weird. Like, so the best team you're going to play has the best offensive line in football. The Browns probably have the best offensive line, if not the top 2 or 3.
I'd say top 3-ish.
Yeah, like then why are you investing so heavily in the defensive line when you need to be like? I'm pretty sure Joe Hayden's not there anymore. Like, or he might be or whatever, but he's old now. Like, they needed to be upgrading the defensive backfield, in my opinion. Like, they have Minkah Fitzpatrick back there, and that's about it.
Hayden's still there.
Hayden's like 36. So it's just weird that they're really, really looking to replace Bud Dupree, who was good, but he wasn't like insane.
Right.
Like, so it's just weird. I'm not saying I'm getting nervous or anything, but like as the season gets closer, like I keep looking at these other teams in the division, and I'm honestly like, okay, the Bengals suck. Like, they have no chance. The Steelers' offensive line is garbage. Their best part of their game is probably their defensive line now, and we can easily take care of that. And then the Ravens will be tough because, well, hopefully they won't be as tough because we have a better defensive unit this year, and Lamar Jackson still can't throw the ball. So I'm not going to say I'm getting cocky or anything, but I'm starting to look at it like, unless Lamar Jackson has learned how to throw, the Browns not winning the division this year would be an utter failure at this point to me.
Yeah. I'm looking at the Steelers roster. Joe Hayden's the only cornerback that I know. I look at the safeties. I know a couple more guys there, but yeah, you're 100% right. And things are looking up for the Browns, and I love that for you.
Yeah, I mean, we'll see, but yeah. All right.
And then
one other thing, yeah.
Yeah, so I forget who announced it. ESPN's partnering with the Manning brothers to host 10 Monday Night Football games on a alternate cast.
Yeah, but it's not like they're the play-by-play and color guys. Yeah, it's like, isn't it like one of those mega casts like they do with what they do with like the college football national championship game where they have like Urban Meyer and like some other college coaches in there.
And it's over the next 3 seasons, beginning this year. So I think it's going to. Is it going to be like a breakdown thing, or I thought it was going to be a play-by-play.
It might be.
delving
no
into
idea.
conversation about broader, bigger picture topics. Anyway, they're going to be playing a factor this season. The Manning brothers was the only thing I wanted to point out.
I mean, I'm a little disappointed in them that this is the only deal that they got. Like Peyton and Eli could have probably got the Monday Night Football like color and like.
Yeah,
I'll just say this. I'm looking at this little megacast thing. This is like their tryout because then in 3 years they're going to Monday Night Football or something.
And in all honesty, like normally you have a play-by-play guy and the color guy, like you said. They both have the color experience, so they both played in the NFL and everything. But I think that they both know the game well enough where, like, you could kind of have them both be like a Tony Romo.
Yeah.
And in all honesty, like, it could be kind of interesting to just hear them talk football. Like, I'm going to tune in to at least three of them.
You know what they need to do? The new Monday Night Crew in 3 years just needs to be Eli, Peyton, and Tony. Just the three quarterbacks. Just the
throw Drew Brees in there. We got 4 people talking.
Yeah. Actually, throw Drew Brees in there. You know what? I bet you next year that Drew Brees and Tony Romo have a show next year, and that's their tryout. Like I said, I'm a little disappointed. I thought they were going to get a better deal. It shocks me that ESPN isn't like featuring them because
I'm hoping that it's at least good.
There's one thing I will say. It's a question. Do we feel bad for Arch Manning yet?
Oh, I've always felt bad for him because he was a great quarterback. He's got the highlights and everything. He just played for one of the worst football teams of all time.
No, you're not. No.
Oh, Arch. Not Archie.
Arch.
Archie. Okay, Arch. Why do you feel bad for Arch?
There's no way.
There's no way to top him. Yeah.
There's no way he's like, and if he is, then if Arch Manning is better than both Peyton and Eli, I don't know how old I'm going to be. He's like, 16? So I'll be like 35. When I'm like 35, like it's going to be the Arch Manning, Tom Brady conversation.
Arch Manning, Tom Brady.
He was
born in 2005.
I know.
What?
So I'm not gonna say I feel bad for him yet because he's in high school and he's taking all these like recruiting visits, and now I mean the NIL coming into effect, like he's gonna make so much money in college. It's not even fair.
I'm looking at his 24/7 sports.
He's gonna go. I think he's gonna go to Clemson.
His college list right now: Alabama, Clemson, Georgia, LSU, and Ole Miss. How horrible would it be if he went to Ole Miss out of that? Just to follow Eli.
I want him to go Ole Miss.
You want him to go?
I want him and Lane Kiffin. Are you kidding me? I want him to go. You know what? He'd be even better though if he went to Mississippi State.
Mississippi State. Oh my God, he would get that. That would be something I would go pay to see. Get him mic'd up and have him like have an earpiece to talk to Eli during the oh my God, I would love it. So I forget he's not either one's kid, right? That's the older brother. What's the older brother's name?
Cooper.
Is that Cooper's kid? It's like their nephew.
I believe so. Yeah, it's their nephew. Yeah, I'm not kidding. He just started driving a car like 2 months ago. So that's insane.
Yeah, it's Cooper's kid.
Funny
all right. That works.
On to briefly, I guess, or you know what? We'll do college football another time. We'll find other things to talk about. So on to what did you say?
I said we can do it.
Yeah, we probably can. All right.
I don't want to talk about Team USA anyway. Screw them all. They're gonna suck.
No, I want to talk about it. Like you're right, JaVale McGee. But he is the type of player they need. They just need like Jared Allen or Joel Embiid can't play because he's from like the Congo or whatever, and Jokic can. I mean, they just need like Andre Drummond. Like, just get someone better than JaVale McGee.
You know what the real issue is with Team USA? I've been thinking about it. All of the marquee players that get all of the minutes are primary scoring ball handlers.
Yes,
they need the ball in their hand. Dame bringing the ball up is great. When you're the Portland Trail Blazers. because he's your primary guy. Kevin Durant needs the ball in his hand. I don't even know who the rest of the team. I'm not gonna lie. Like I am just so disgusted by this team.
It's crazy because Darius Garland it would not be the best option. And I'm not gonna lie, Trae Young, I wouldn't have brought. I mean, I wish he would have got up. He's not the right player for this team, though.
Yeah,
he's not necessarily what they need. They need probably more of like a John Morant. But Darius Garland was on the select team, so he was in some of the exhibition games and scrimmage with them. That's all they need. They need a guy who's going to bring the ball up the court and let Dame Lillard and Kevin Durant run off screens and run off picks and get them the ball. And then they need a guy like Andre Drummond to rebound all the misses. And then Kevin Durant, Damian Lillard,
get
Jason
Frank
Tatum.
Kaminsky.
Yeah, they just take all the shots. Like all the good guys take the shots, and then they have one rebounder and one point guard. I mean, that's all they need. I do think they'll medal. I think they're going to get bronze or silver.
Maybe bronze, silver. So I really, really, really am disgusted by this team. Like looking at all of the teams that we've had beforehand, and like you look at the Redeem team or whatever it was, where you had all of the superstars. They figured out how to play together, but since the Olympics and since those guys had success in the Olympics, everyone now uses the Olympics as like a show me tournament. It's like March Madness, but for pros. Everyone's trying to use it to show they still have game, they deserve a contract, and they deserve this and that.
Well,
they forget like, the real purpose.
Except for Kevin Love. I mean, he just didn't want to play. So he just like was whatever. I mean,
because he has his contract.
Honestly, like I was looking forward to hopefully him playing, and then when everyone got down and got sick and hurt, I was like, okay, he might get some more playing time. This is gonna be really good. He can raise his stock, and we can trade him. This was the worst thing that can happen. The Cavs are in disarray. They're probably gonna have to draft Evan Mobley. I'm very close. Like, as so much in as I was on the NBA, like when the Cavs originally got the third pick and when Trae Young was in the playoffs. If the Bucks win, I think I'm going to be out for like 3 or 4 months. Like, I just won't care. Like, everything that I got so excited for has just not happened.
He's dead
at all. Jalen Green is not coming to the Cavs. The Suns aren't going to win. Trae Young's not going to win. The boring ass Bucks are going to win.
I want the Suns to win because have they won one? Have they won a title?
No.
I know the Bucks haven't won one since the 70s, but
yeah. So everything that I was so in about has just failed me. So I don't know. All right. Yeah, we can get to the college football preview.
Let's do it. I'm excited.
Yeah, you seem like it. I'll just say my top 10 and tell me what you disagree with, don't disagree with. I like Alabama number 1, Clemson 2, Georgia 3, Ohio State 4, Oklahoma 5, Texas A&M 6, Iowa State 7, Florida 8, Notre Dame 9, 10 Cincinnati. I think Cincinnati could move up. I also think Oklahoma could get into the top 4. But just like every year, it's going to be your usual suspects, except this year Georgia is going to be that other team along with Ohio State, Clemson, and Alabama. And the only reason I say Ohio State is fourth between those. They just have a new – Alabama has a new quarterback as well. He was a little bit better rated. And, I just trust Alabama's system more with a young quarterback. Clemson's going to have Ugalele. They're going to be insane. Alabama, like I said, Bryce Young. Georgia's got JT Daniels. They should be if they don't make the playoffs this year, Kirby Smart 100% needs to be fired.
Especially with the 12 teams, right?
They're not doing 12 teams this year.
Oh, that is next year?
No.
Oh.
It's in 5 years.
Oh, that's
I think maybe 3. So, yeah. So, but if they don't make the playoff this year, you got to fire Kirby Smart. This is the best team they've probably had since
the last time they were in the playoff. Yeah,
when they went to the national championship, lost to Alabama in the Hail Mary loss. The only reason, like I said, I have Ohio State for CJ Stroud's going to be their quarterback. I just don't trust those guys. I just don't trust Ohio State's system as much. I guess we'll go the top three, the projected order. Unfortunately, I think Rattler's going to win just because Oklahoma is a factory for Heisman's. I mean, he's going to throw for 4,000 yards. I hope he gets hurt and doesn't play. I don't like him. I don't like Oklahoma. JT Daniels, once again, better have a good season. I don't know how he doesn't. I still want to find out why he didn't play all season last year. I'm still going to investigate that. And then I have Chris Olave here is the Heisman top three. I don't know if it's going to be Chris Olave. I would love to beat Chris Olave. I do think one sleeper sneaks in that's not a quarterback, whether it be Bijan Robinson, the running back from Texas. I can't think of what's the kid's name from Oklahoma State. Someone can sneak. Someone is after what?
Smith.
Yes, Devonta Smith did last year. People are going to start recognizing these other skill position players that have it. So I think it could be a trend going forward where there's probably at least one, either defensive or wide receiver or running back. So, but once again, like always, except for last year, the quarterback will win.
So I have a question about your top 10 and your Heisman people.
Okay.
Where does North Carolina and Sam Howell slot in?
Sam Howell, it should be, in my opinion, should be the number one pick next year. Once again, it'll probably be Rattler because he's it just sucks for UNC. If they would have had the team they had, like Javonte Williams and those guys last year or this year, they would have been in the top five. They would have been higher than Clemson for me. They just lost every skill position player. They brought back a lot of their defense. And they brought back Sam Howell. They will crack the top 10 at some point. But the issue for them is this year, and I don't even think if they had Javonte Williams or whoever, they're just not on the same level as Clemson. They're just not going to get over Clemson in the ACC. Maybe, once every 3 or 4 years, they beat them in the ACC championship or beat them in the regular season or something. But Clemson's not down enough for a good North Carolina to take them out.
Okay.
Yeah, I think
could Sam Howell be in Heisman contention though, even if he isn't going to the playoff?
If he's not going to the playoff, I see it hard to believe. If he is going to the playoff or like he's on the bubble, he will probably win the Heisman because it will be a lot on him. Mm-hmm. And like I said, I think he should be the number one pick. Spencer Rattler can go kick rocks. Go away, dude. You look weird. Conference winners in the championship games. I want to tell everyone that I think it's going to be different. I don't. I think it's going to be a lot of chalk. In the Big Ten, Ohio State's going to beat Wisconsin in the Big Ten, and the Big Ten, the gap between Ohio State and the rest of the Big Ten, it should be closing this year, but I think it's going to become wider and wider. Ohio State is recruiting at a level that I'll just say it. Ohio State, Alabama, Clemson, and I'll throw Georgia kind of in there. They're recruiting at a level that the amount of talent they're getting, soon these guys are going to be sending all 22s to the NFL draft. So it's insane. I think Clemson and Ohio State start putting a lot of space between them and the ACC and the Big Ten. I think the SEC is always going to have one other good team for Alabama to, spar with. That's just how it's going to be. But they just have so much talent. It's not fair. In the ACC, I like Clemson over North Carolina. Once again, you will probably see all of these a lot in predictions. Oklahoma versus Oklahoma State. Oklahoma wins in the Big 12. Pac-12, a little bit of a surprise here. Not with Oregon. I think Oregon wins. I actually think Chip Kelly this is more to this. I'll get to this in a little bit. I think Chip Kelly finally has a decent year at UCLA, or a decent enough year where the rest of the Pac-12 is also bad that they make the championship game. It's kind of now or never for him. And I don't mean as like the guy at UCLA. I think as him as a head coach is kind of now or never. So he didn't work out. He crushed it at Oregon, went to the Eagles, didn't work out with the Eagles, and have been kind of bouncing around UCLA now. I think that's I assume you're holding all your questions for the end. That's good.
Mm-hmm.
The top 6 at the end of the year. Obviously, the top 4 in the playoff. I like Alabama. Number 1, I like Ohio State and Clemson, 2 and 3. And then I like Georgia as the 4th. Georgia does not play Alabama in the regular season this year. So they're from the East and West. It's an unbalanced schedule. I think they will, and I also think there's a very good chance they will meet in Atlanta for the SEC as 1 and 2 or like 1 and 3 or 1 and 4, both undefeated. And then I think it's close. And I think Oklahoma drops one to somebody along the way. It might be Texas. I don't know. I think they drop one. So they'll both be fighting it out with one loss. And once again, even though I think Oklahoma is going to be a little bit more legit this year because they actually have somewhat of a defense, and not like when they say they have somewhat of a defense, their defense, they brought back some guys and it should be okay. But the committee is going to look at what has happened to Oklahoma in the past and be like, you know what, let's throw Georgia in. The last time they were in the playoff, they made the national championship. Oklahoma will riot. Oklahoma's going to call into everything and complain. Once again, Oklahoma, you play in the Big 12. You have a fake quarterback system. Just go away and just sink into the middle of the earth. I don't care. Oklahoma fans are the worst. I love you, Baker Mayfield, but Oklahoma sucks. Also, Texas sucks. I don't know if you saw this. It is now going to be illegal again to do horns down, but you can't.
Horns up is okay.
No. Horns down at another player you can't do. You can do it to the fans, which.
What?
Yeah. It's basically the ref, one of the the head of the official.
So can the fans still do it?
Yeah.
Oh, okay, then it's still gonna get in the heads of people.
Yeah. I mean, I will say I did love Baker's tweet that this is gonna
offend.
He had 4 pictures of him doing the horns down, mentally weak people. He's right like that. Also, newsflash, Texas, you're not back again this year just because you got Sark. I really hope he's okay and doesn't, collapse into a drinking issue again. So I hope he's okay. I do think he'll eventually be a good coach. But your team still just sucks right now. Your only good player is Bijan Robinson, the running back. He could sneak into the Heisman if they have a very above average season. Other than that,
they lost Ellinger.
Yeah. Next year they're getting a really good one. But once again, the talent is just it's only getting better. It's insane. But yeah, Texas, you're not back. I don't care. You're not back. So just shut up and live in the Big 12. I'm at the point in college football now where it's so clear that Ohio State, Alabama, and Clemson are so far above the rest of the country that it's even if all 3 of them don't make the playoff this year, just the levels that they recruit on, the things that they do. And I love how the NIL is everyone's oh, it's going to make it fairer. Yes, for a little while, it's going to make it fairer. But then it's not going to make it fair. And the Ohio States, the Clemsons, and the Alabamas are going to have the best deals and the most money when you want to sign there. So I think, again, in 10 years, they're going to have to circulate around this because, once again, it will have turned into the big schools get the big school money. So,
right.
And I'm not even going to comment on it. Maybe I'm dead by the time they comment on it in 10 years. Or I don't know. Hopefully I am because then it's going to come to salarying players. And that is an impossible task. So yeah, good for them. Win totals to hit. Clemson 11.5. I like the under. I think Clemson stumbles this year as well. Alabama 11.5. over. They're not going to lose and before the playoff. Ohio State 11 over. They're not going to lose until the playoff if they lose. Oklahoma 11 under. I think they're going to lose one. And then UNC, I will say at 10, I would take the over. I think they will drop 1 to Clemson probably. I think they'll probably – I don't think the ACC is that good this year. Oh, also a little story out of the SEC. The Vanderbilt coach decided that his players – they don't get numbers until they earn them. So they're practicing right now with blank black jerseys, which got to tell you, probably makes it a little hard to, evaluate the players because you don't know who they are. And second of all, dude, I get you're trying to set like a tone, a new thing. You're Vanderbilt. Your best player last year was a female, and she was a kicker. So, yeah. I just those
I don't
stories
understand coaches. I really don't.
Those stories just make me cringe. Like I just don't get it. Semifinal matchups you can obviously read above. I think it's Alabama versus Georgia, and I think it's Ohio State versus Clemson. Right now, and I will probably eventually have to stick to it until the first week from now. And Ohio State or Georgia loses. Who knows? I think Georgia will beat Ohio State in the national championship game.
Really? Georgia over Alabama?
Yes. If Nick Saban's ever going to lose, like this is the year where Nick Saban, like Kirby Smart needs to beat Nick Saban, because obviously we know his record against his former coaches. Because if Kirby Smart doesn't beat Nick Saban this year, he is going to retire undefeated against his old coaches. I'm just going to say that. The most disappointing team for me, there are going to be a lot of disappointing teams out there. I'm going to go with Penn State. They're supposed to, be revamped after a really bad year last year. You don't really know how bad they were last year because you don't know if it was COVID. You don't know what the deal was. Fans are back, which is huge for Penn State. I mean, there's a couple of videos that I think during last football season, like people tweeted out like, oh, this was supposed to be Penn State's whiteout game, and they had a clip of like the Michigan game. Yeah. It's the craziest environment ever. I would love to go to College Station. I just don't think they're going to be that good. They are recruiting well right now, though, so they might be good again next year. I don't know if James Franklin is the man there. He's got to show something real soon, or else I think he's out. I guess this is a question for you. Howell or Rattler, who do you think is first pick in the draft? Because we all know it's going to be a quarterback.
Do we think that there's going to be a combine next year? Because that factors into my decision.
Yeah.
Assuming that there's a combine, I think it will be Howell. If there's not, and it's like this year with private workouts and everything, I think it'll be Rattler.
I think whoever drafts Howell will be the better team in the long run. I do think it's going to end up being Rattler. It's just hard to argue with not even Oklahoma's string of quarterbacks lately, but just the Big 12 string of quarterbacks lately. I mean, Patrick Mahomes. So yeah. I'll understand that. I think it should be Sam Howell. Sam Howell has been the best quarterback. I mean, obviously, other than Trevor Lawrence and probably Justin Fields, but he's been the third best quarterback in the country this past couple of years. So, I have two hot takes. Would you like me to start in the South or in the North?
South.
LSU is going to finish under 500 this year, and Ed Orgeron is going to be gone at the end of the year. Not only are they going to go under 500, they're going to be very bad. More and more charges are going to come up from these old players, like you've seen with what's that kid's name? Darius Geis was just a moron when he was there. It's going to be worse. Also, I know I brought up UCLA earlier. LSU plays UCLA, I believe, either the first or second week. UCLA is going to beat LSU when they match up. And it's going to start a very, very bad slide for LSU. And then up north, I don't think this should really surprise anyone. This is going to be Harbaugh's last season at Michigan.
Yeah, I was going to ask about Harbaugh. That was one of the questions I had.
I think they're actually going to have a decent season. I think they're going to go like 9-3, 10-2.
Will they beat Ohio State?
No, exactly. Like that's what I'm getting at. They won't beat Ohio State. And honestly, it's going to look terrible for Michigan. I don't think they'll fire him. I think Jim Harbaugh will just resign. I really do. I think he's just going to be like, you know what, this wasn't for me. Like, because I got to tell you, as you keep looking down the line at like the recruiting, I know it's not everything, but just what the teams having coming up, Michigan isn't going to be favored in the game overall against Ohio State in the next 6 years.
Right.
So, and it almost sucks because I don't know if the rivalry is going to survive. There's a lot of history behind it, so I think it will. But it would not surprise me in the least if Ohio State goes on, like they win the next 15. Like it just wouldn't surprise me. So I think Harbaugh, I think he's going to see the light at the end, not the light at the end of the tunnel, just the, the writing on the wall and be like, yeah, man, like, because they brought in a 5-star this year, even though they're not going to play him, I don't think, because they brought in Texas Tech's transfer, Alan Bowman. They do some weird things there. I think Harbaugh's just going to have too much pride to be like, I think he's, like I said, look at the writing on the wall and be like, I really am not going to beat these guys. If I'm here for 10 more years, I'm not going to beat them. So might as well just, we had like a 9-3 season. We're in a New Year's Six Bowl, whatever. I'm done. So, and then I got to tell you, I don't know where Michigan goes from there.
That would be horrible for them because they have all of their eggs in Harbaugh's basket.
Yeah, and they did that when they went after him and they got him. And I thought it was a smart move at the time. I did. It's looking dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber and dumber every year.
Yeah.
If we're being honest, he should have resigned or been fired after last season. So, yeah. U.S. Soccer is going to win the Gold Cup. The Gold Cup is fake. Well, it's not fake; it's real, but it's another dumb competition.
Nice.
You're not going to want to watch any of the games because I don't know any of the players on the U.S. team. They're using all MLS players. There's no Pulisic. There's no one I give a shit about. So that
nice.
But they have won their group. They won their group. They beat Canada 1-0 on Sunday. They scored in the first 20 seconds, and then literally this is why Americans hate soccer, because then for the next 95 minutes, nothing happened. They won 1-0.
Great.
So I've always said that, like, if you wanted to watch exciting soccer, you should have watched the Euro, and I think everyone agree with me. I'm also here to tell you, you probably don't want to watch the Gold Cup. If they do play Mexico in the final or the semifinals, you should watch that. Actually, no, you shouldn't. Mexico will kill them because we don't have any of our guys. But yeah, betting wise, I will be taking the Suns money line tonight. Pull up MGM.
Pulling up MGM.
I should have just put this in the outline.
Why are you trying to put together a?
I don't know if I'm gonna. Well, yeah.
All right, there we go. Right now, Moneyline Suns is plus 170.
Oh, I don't really care about the money line. I'm thinking about prop building.
Oh, prop build.
We're gonna go Devin Booker over 40, or 40 or over.
It cuts off at 33.
Okay, well then we're gonna go 33.
33 on the over. You want to add the Suns to win the game, just in general, or do you want them to get 4.5 on the spread?
No, I don't want to add the ending to the game into any of this. I would bet the money line on its own.
Okay, all right.
Do they have like a prop for minutes?
No.
All right. Well, then we can just quit prop builder because really the only thing I can guarantee now is that Devin Booker's going to have over 33 points. Because I honestly don't think, like, if there was a minutes, like if you had Chris Paul's minutes at like 24, I would have been like, let's take the under. But yeah, I think it has to. I think Devin Booker needs to go off for 40 or 50 tonight, or Devin Booker needs to go off for 35, and Mikal Bridges needs to have a really good game, like he did in Game 2 when he scored 27.
Yeah, they do have Devin Booker for 40 more points, so I added that in. So if you just bet Booker for 40 plus and the Suns to win, that's plus 750.
All right, well, I mean that's very enticing. I really.
You want to try and bet his 3-pointers?
No.
Yeah, there you go.
I'll look at that later. But yes, like I said, I will be taking the Suns money line. I've also taken a vow to not tweet about the game tonight. Another new thing about Twitter, now that I'm writing about the Cavs again, Cavs Twitter is a very weird place, and it's just weird. I just wanted that to be known. I don't know what's going on with people there, so it's weird. Also, my guy Mac Perry, there should be a link in the video below this. He does a podcast. It's Cavalier Podcast. I was on it Sunday. Don't listen to me in that podcast, but listen to everyone else. They have smart takes, and then obviously listen to Mac. The link is below. It's free. It's on Anchor, just like ours. Our Anchor link is below as well. Anchor is what gets it distributed out to Spotify and everything like that. So hopefully by tonight, this will be up on Spotify and distributed everywhere. And then, like I said, definitely take a listen to Max. It's Cavalier Podcast. It's really good. I've listened to a couple episodes. I am not scared to tell people when it's bad. He knows what he's talking about. And then if you just kind of want to listen to a crazy person talk about the Cavs, that's me on his new episode. I can't accept Evan Mobley, and it's terrible. So, also, the Tiki Taka podcast, me and Michael's soccer podcast. There is not a link below this into that one on Anchor, but we will have that tomorrow. We will be going live tomorrow, probably 12:30, 11:30. I'll post something, and then obviously me and Tom will probably be back. We'll probably release Friday, but we'll probably be live on Thursday.
Yep.
And then we'll release Friday.
And then I actually also, while we were doing our show here today, a very good buddy of mine actually had an interview with Adam Cohen at Back Sports Page, and I saw the article. I read it. I texted him a link with the article and was talking with him, and he's agreed to come on our show next week. John Zagul. He's a college kid. He does his own radio show and podcast. So we can schedule him sometime next week once I find out his schedule.
Yeah, Tom, that's your guess. So you will be scheduling him. I will not be taking part in that.
Sure.
But yeah, obviously, Adam does the baseball for BSP. I was thinking of Ryan Truland, who on Back Sports does a really, really good job with MMA. I'm just not interested in MMA. So
yeah.
That also happened over the weekend. Nothing happened other than Misha Tate won, I think.
Yeah. Anyway.
And then Conor McGregor lost again last week. But yeah, definitely. Like I said, we should have my cousin on. It might end up being like in a month because I think they're coming down to like the end of his season. And so he's going to get back in school here, I believe. I mean, football season's coming around. For all you weirdos, like you're still in school, so you got to go to school too. So it's just getting weird. Also, once the season start coming around, especially NFL, college football, we haven't decided officially yet, but we're either going to do another show or we're going to include probably a weekly, like full-length feature for betting Saturdays in college football and Sunday, and then also for fantasy on Sundays. Tom knows about that. So I will just be hosting. I'll just be hosting. So But yeah, thanks for everyone for listening in. Like I said, Mac Perry, It's Cavalier podcast. And then who's your friend, Tom, who's coming on next week?
John Zagul.
John Zagul. We look forward to talking to him. I'm not going to bring it out. I'll tell you afterwards. But yeah, go Suns. But also go Bucks if you guys win. And all I'm going to say is you better have over more than 1.3 million people at your parade, or else you're a failure. Anything else, Tom?
Sco Dogs, you already know how it is. Oh.